So for this section of your assignment, you're going to draw four full clothing. You could use either the models that you developed, or you can use the templates I uploaded to our website. You're welcome to download them and use those underneath your hand. Like, you need to print them ahead of time. If you were in the class, we did have them in the class available for you, but you could totally print them and use them underneath your hand. I'm not going to reduce any mark for not using your own model, as long as you have that first model developed through the steps that we talked about. So that's for that. And as for your actual clothing design, you could do anything. It's not guided. I'm not looking for anything specific. When we do the fashion dynamics, which we'll talk about clothing design, there I will have exactly some criteria that how I want you to design. But in this case, you can combine anything that you want, any tops, skirts, pants, the lessons we've been going through. You're welcome to use any of those as your references, and just combine bunch of different things. And all I'm looking for is really 8 of them. I also included some more, like these are some examples that I have on the website for you. You could look at those and, just get idea of how to draw them. There are different styles of clothing here. I also have that listed there for you. This is a flat, by the way, so it is more like from front point of view. Here is not too much. I didn't do this, I found it on internet, but you're also welcome to look online and see what other designers are doing and just get inspiration from them. All right, so just quickly show you what I'm looking for. I'm going to use everything we kind of talked about, put them together, and come up with a full clothing. All right, so let's do... if you were in the class, I was going to ask you to vote what to draw. A dress. Let's do something casual for her. If you want to do a pants, I guess I'll start with the pants, and then I'm going to have a yoke for her pants. Yoke is a wider part of the fabric that you have at the top. And then I'm going to give her a capri, but it's going to be like a looser capri, and I want to have a cuff at the bottom, so I'm going to create the cuff, and I want this to be a little loose, right? So same principle as we talked about is being applied. I am applying my little loops, my gather line, just some straight and curvy line coming down here. Because it is loose, I'm not drawing exactly on the body. Let's give her some sneakers. Just rough, right now. Again, I don't want you to do anything detail in terms of drawing shoes or feet. Just basic. And gonna give her a pocket on this side, top stitching. I could even show that there is a zipper on this side. There we go. And then for the top, let's give her some basic t-shirt type of thing. So you draw your line, create your loop. Again, this is a little looser, so I'm going to show that it is loose. Since everything we drew, I kind of figured that everything is close-fitting. Standard cut for the sleeve line. And again, I'm sorry. Again, the top is kind of loose, so anywhere you're showing that there's, like in this case, the arm is being bended at elbow, I'm putting some curvy lines, and you suggest direction of the crest. We have that right here too. So going up, and again it has a cuff, so I draw the cuff first. Showing the crest and the lines. And of course you could start with drawing the head first. I usually don't do that. I usually start from having my ideas, and then by the time that I finish my clothing, I know what kind of hairstyle I like her to have, or if she's wearing a cap or a hat or whatever it is. That's why I kind of do that at the end. That helps me not erasing it ahead of time. In this case, I think I'm going to give her some braid. There we go. In next lesson, we'll be talking about drawing face and, hair, all fun stuff. So this might be a good preview for that lesson. All right, so, you could take your time. This is never ending for me. I'm not the best in start and finishing really quickly. I always like to continue working on my piece until it's done. Some of you might be like me, some of you might have exact idea, start, finish, all done. I keep developing more into my design. And I think that would be one example of a full clothing. Here I just decided I'm gonna add some texture, like a pattern for the pants, like the upper part of the pants. And yeah, so just like that. You could do top and pants, you could do top and skirts, you could do a full dress. Maybe I quickly show you a full dress too, and we use the same model, that's fine. Okay, so say we're doing a full dress. Again, you want to think ahead of time. Right now I'm improvising, so hopefully something nice will come out. Not so sure, but we'll see. I'm going to have a round style right here, have it close fitting, and I'm going to make it really poofy at the bottom. Right? So first of all, you decide how wide, how tall, how short, all that is going to be. You put your main design lines. I leave the head for the last to do the decorational pieces, but here, say I want to have another layer going at the back. So this layer is a little shorter and it is at the back. So I just added that right there. At the front, I'm going to have a little piece coming down to about here maybe, or even shorter actually. Let's do something really strange. That way you get exposure to different ideas of designing. So, all right, so this piece is going to be shorter. There are 3 different pieces, and I'll kind of construct them as we go through this. Let's first finish the main skirt line. I'm going to use that inverted pleat lesson that I showed you. Let me find it. So I can refer to that. Okay, you know how we talked about this design? I'm going to use that, but in really large form. And you see what I mean by that. So in here, I'm going to have one big round form. It's going up to here. In the inside, you know how we said we're gonna curve it inward? I'm going to curve that inward on either side. Decide about that line going up, and again here I'm going to have another large curvy line, and that is also, both of them are going up and a little higher towards the inside. And this is my last one. I guess I'm running out of space. There. So that is the general form. This will be dark, suggesting that those are in the inside fold of my fabric. And again, because this is not a shading lesson, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that. I don't want to take your time. Moving on to the rest of the design. There we go. So we got that far. Now that piece that is at the back, definitely going to be darker. Right? And I have this other section right here, which is right at the front. And let's do something fun with this. Maybe we use a different type of fabric for this. Maybe you have some kind of flowers, texturize it, or you could have different sort of pleats happening there. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you that you don't have to just stick with basic lines. You could have fun, start having fun with this, and you know, create different designs. I'm going to use my mechanical pencil and create a little lace right here. So for my lace, I'm going to use the same rule. Have a small ruffle, but to create the texture of the lace, you could just do some cross hatching. I will have a full lesson on rendering different textures, like how would you render lace, denim, velvet, satin. But again, they will be in color. We'll be using watercolor for that, and that would be more advanced for either illustration 2 or 3, depending on the group of students I'll be teaching. But say we have that. Again, I'm just going back, creating all the darker spots to make it dimensional. There you go. So here's the lower part of my skirt. Sorry, my dress. It's almost done. What I'm going back and suggesting some darker colors. And obviously you will see some gathers at the top, so I'm reflecting those as well. Okay, so the lower part of our dress is ready, and for the upper part you could start thinking and deciding. And in my case, I am thinking on maybe have kind of carry that out and have a lace section here. It is the same rule, it's just upside down. right? So I create that texture. And you know, I don't want to take your time, so I probably go back and finish the texturizing this, and we'll upload it to our class site as your demo to look, but that's how it is. And in here I'm going to draw my seam line. This is the princess cut. There we go. And again, you could decide if you want to use different fabric or keep it simple. Top stitching. And the sleeves, you could have a sleeve or none. In this case, I probably don't add any more fabric. I'll just keep the body. So go ahead and trace your body. There we go. And then the last thing you decide on is going to be your hairstyle. And the face, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna put her hair up. You see, the technique I showed you last week about putting a paper on top and tracing it over, that applies even to your clothing too, right? So once this is finished, as you can see, I'm coming up with ideas. So I draw, I erase, I change. And at the end of this drawing, this may not look very nice and clean. So you could always, once you develop your idea, this is just development of your ideas. But when you're actually doing the final illustration, you could put another paper on top of this, trace it, make it nice and clean, and at that time you're not really thinking a lot about what to do. It's already done, you're just tracing it. And then we'll talk about drawing the face in the next lesson, but just give her some recommendation for the face. There, it doesn't need to be fully developed, as long as you just have some lines. And that's the lesson that is coming up. We'll talk about proportion of placement for elements of face, and once they're in the right spot, even though if you don't develop them completely, if the eyes are in the right spot and nose is in the right spot, it looks fine. It's not, you know, it's not gonna be awful. All right, I think that's it. So you can go ahead and combine a bunch of ideas that we had and create your clothing designs. I'll see you in the next video.